come with me to the filming spot. We are gonna go talk about something. Let's talk about this. Today, friends, we're going to be talking about Un-Publishable book I wrote and how I am starting the query process again. Did I know that this book was going to be unpublishable when I started writing it? No. Do I still think it's probably unpublishable? Yes. Am I going to query it again anyway? Also, yes. You know how they say you should write the book that's in your heart? You should not write for market. I agree with that. But then you write a book that is unpublishable. And it's not me just saying this. This is agents that have told me this. But okay, this is the book. The color of her words. I'm gonna do another round of queries. I've been working on this book off and on, mostly off for the past 13 years. It's one of those books that was so rooted in character. I pulled this character together from people that I knew growing up, and I just was so inspired by them, and I had to write the book. There's no other way to put it. I had to write this book. It was in my brain. I was freshly, 20s, and this is written from experiences I was seeing secondhand, hearing about secondhand in my teens and formative years. So it had to get out of me. But that does not mean that when I was 20 years old, that the first draft of this was useful. It's still not going to be an easy one to publish. However, this draft that I printed for myself to read through, looking at it in the position that I'm in now, 13 years later, I'm like, oh, I feel like I was too much of a kid still when I wrote the first draft, because the reason it's unpublishable is because it is a young protagonist that goes through very adult things. People kept saying this is not a young adult book to me, and I'm like, I know it's not a young adult book. It's an adult book. But it's not. Who's gonna just say to themselves, you know what book I want to read? I want to read a really character-driven, hard to read, thought-provoking literary novel where the protagonist is a 14-year-old boy. Nobody's looking for that book, right? They're not hunting for that book. It just wasn't in my brain and body, and my fingers had to get it out. I've queried this book now. This is going to be my second round of queries, but it's in much better shape. When I wrote the first draft, I think I was still too close to these events, and I think I still had not sorted through them through an adult lens. And a couple of my friends read this book, and I apologize to those people because there's a lot in here that's, even for an intense story, it's too intense. I needed to have some kind of filter when I wrote this, and I didn't. And for that, to all my friends who've read this version, I apologize. But now I feel like I've honed it in such a way where it doesn't pull punches. There's just enough groundedness to it now where you feel like you're in safe hands with the narrator, which is cool. So, has this been using my actual audio mic? I'm going to pause and see if it has. I'm going to level with you guys. I simply do not know if this is recording audio. I have no idea. Hopefully it is. But I can tell you that my phone is very, very hot. And it's very hot outside. It's like 90-something degrees here in Florida. But anyways, I've done a solid revision of this book. I've changed characters around. I've added characters. I've cut so many scenes. I've rewritten so many scenes. This is a very new book. And now that I feel confident that it's not so freaking bleak that it just leaves people completely devastated, I think I'm going to query it again. I've already sent out a few query letters. If you've queried before, you know that now it's just a waiting game. So here we are. We're sitting, we're waiting. We're not expecting anything because, like I said, this was my second round querying. First round went very well. I had no offers of representation, but I did have multiple people ask to read the full manuscript, which is insane. Unfortunately, when they read the manuscript, they were like, it's very good. It's haunting. I don't know how I would sell it. I don't know how I would market this. I don't know who the audience is. And I was like, fair. That's fair. It's a tough book to sell. It's a tough book to read. So we will see. We will see what, if anything, happens. I'm not ready to give up on the idea of this book in the world entirely. I put so much time and effort, and my heart is in these pages. The kids that I knew growing up are in these pages. There's a lot in here that I think is important to see and not shy away from. So I'm querying again. I also wrote a new query letter, which I think is the strongest version of the query letter. The first one was good. It got me interest. It got me requests for the manuscript. It was good. But this one, I think, is much better because I've learned so much about writing. I've learned so much about querying and how to publish and what publishers need to know up front. Like the first round of querying, I did not include that he has synesthesia. That's like it's a huge point in the book, and I didn't include it. I didn't include like any kind of neurodivergence. I didn't include in the query some very important things like that this is a standalone book, but it's part of a trilogy. Fun fact, there are 3 of these. I'm going to confess something to you that is very embarrassing, actually. This is a trilogy, and on my desktop, I have, at last count, 15 novels in the works. So most of them are like 20-30% done, but a solid 5 are like almost finished. It's ridiculous. So what I'm doing this year, 2025 Tegan, is now taking her publishing goals seriously. I'm querying this book while finishing up another book, my Renfest project, that I'm going to be publishing, or maybe I'll query that one too. I don't know. The plan was to self-publish that one, but maybe I'll shop it around first, see if there's any interest for it. I think it's going to be a very fun book, so we shall see. But the goal this year is to query, is to polish, is to take my goals seriously. So, yeah, that's a little backstory on the Un-Publishable novel that I'm giving another shot, another chance at life. I don't know. Wish me luck, you guys. It's tough out there. But I feel hopeful. I feel like I'm in a good spot. The book's in the best spot it's ever been. I'll find more ways to keep you guys updated as the journey continues with this book and also with my Renfest novels and any of my other 14 works in progress that I'm trying to take more seriously and actually finish this year. I do still believe, even though I've heard that this book is unpublishable, I do still believe that if you have a book that's in your heart, you should write it for yourself and then see what happens, because you never know. You never know. Maybe people really also want to read your book, your weird, crazy, unpublishable book. You never know. You owe it to yourself, though, to do the things that are scary, to do the things that inspire you, that light you up, that you feel called to do. I have written books for market specifically before, and those are always fun projects as well. But there is just something about really pouring your heart onto the page just for yourself. It's a really wonderful experience. It's a great writing experience. It's good for your soul, I think, just to be so honest with what you're doing and not worry about what other people are going to think about it or how it's going to sell money. It's not going to be trendy. I think if you have a book that's in your heart that you're like, I'm not going to write it because no one would ever want to read it. Just, you don't know. You don't know. Write it. You probably are really going to enjoy the experience, if nothing else. And every book you write is one more book that's behind you, giving you that much more experience, which is, I think, invaluable. All right. That is the story of The Color of Her Words. That is the querying journey that it's been on and what it's about to be on again. I'll keep you guys posted on how it's going. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.